Once upon a time, a long time ago, or it could have been just yesterday, underneath the roots of a big oak tree at the banks of Windmill Creek, there lived a little hedgehog family. Papa Hedgehog and Mama Hedgehog and Brother Hedgehog and Sister Hedgehog loved to play in the autumn leaves that had fallen from the tree. They liked to snuggle up under those leaves after they made a cozy leaf pile and sleep all day. For that's what hedgehogs do. They sleep in the day and they are awake all night. And there was a large garden on the other side of the stream, and it belonged to Mr. Murphy. His home was nearby, and he was a kind old grandfather who looked after the plants. And he did not mind sharing a watermelon or two with the little hedgehog family. He liked having them come and visit in his garden. For Mr. Murphy lived alone, and sometimes he was very lonely. The sun and the warm rains fell all season before, and the garden grew and grew. And now autumn had arrived, and the vegetables were ready to harvest. Mr. Murphy sniffed the air. He said, "There is a smell of frost. What a fine garden I have this year, but now it is time to bring in the harvest before old Jack Frost visits." Mr. Murphy was tired, and he thought, "I'm going to sit on my porch and have a fine cup of tea. And afterwards, I will bring all these baskets that I have gathered out to my garden, and I will harvest the vegetables." So he sat on his porch and he drank his tea. He got very, very sleepy. And before you know it, Mr. Murphy's eyes closed and he fell fast asleep. He was on his porch as the day passed, and still he slept on. And when the sun began to set, Mr. Murphy still slept on. The sun had left the sky, and it had grown dark. And that was just about the time that the hedgehog family woke up, for they did like coming out at night. And they said, I wonder what's in that garden. Let's go see if we can find some supper for ourselves to eat. So the little hedgehogs went wigglety-wigglety, wigglety-tigglety over the little bridge, and they made their way into the garden. Oh, there were many yummy things to eat, but suddenly Grandfather Hedgehog sniffed the air. "Oh," he said, "there is a frost in the air. Mr. Murphy did not harvest all his vegetables." And he went to look to see where was Mr. Murphy, and he saw that he was there on his porch, still sleeping. Papa Hedgehog said, "Oh, we must help Mr. Murphy gather up his vegetables. We must save the harvest before the frost comes." So Mother Hedgehog and Father Hedgehog and Brother Hedgehog and Sister Hedgehog went across the bridge, wigglety-tigglety, wigglety-tigglety, and they each gathered a basket from the porch and brought it back to the garden. Wigglety-tigglety, wigglety-tigglety, wigglety-tigglety they went. Wigglety-tigglety, wigglety-tigglety, wigglety-tigglety they went. And Brother Hedgehog and Sister Hedgehog, they gathered their baskets too and followed their parents back to the garden. And then they began to gather the harvest. Oh, there was so much to pick. There were tomatoes to gather, and onions and mushrooms to gather. There were carrots to gather, and even apples from the apple orchard. Such a fine harvest it was. And one by one, they brought their baskets back to where Mr. Murphy's porch was. And we're so excited to think about Mr. Murphy's surprise when he would wake up and see his harvest. Wiggledy-tiggledy, wiggledy-tiggledy, wiggledy-tiggledy they went. Wiggledy-tiggledy, wiggledy-tiggledy, wiggledy-tiggledy they went. And after they had put all the baskets on the porch, they thought, well, we should find something to eat ourselves. So Father Hedgehog went to the far corner of the garden, farther than he had ever been before. And there he found the largest pumpkin he had ever seen. It was enormous. And he thought, wouldn't Mr. Murphy be so excited if he found this pumpkin on his porch? So he began to push and pull and push and pull. But that pumpkin was too heavy to move at all. So we called out, Mother Hedgehog, come quick, I need your help. Join me and let's harvest this giant pumpkin for Mr. Murphy. And together they pushed and pulled and pushed and pulled. But the pumpkin was stuck fast and would not budge. So then Father Hedgehog called Brother Hedgehog and said, Brother, come quick. Help us harvest this pumpkin for Mr. Murphy. And they pushed and pulled and pushed and pulled. But the pumpkin would not budge. So Mother Hedgehog called, Sister Hedgehog, come and help us harvest this pumpkin. And then the four of them worked so hard to push and pull and push and pull. But the pumpkin would not budge. So then Father Hedgehog said, I have an idea. If I cannot harvest this pumpkin for Mr. Murphy, maybe we should have a harvest party. And so he began to nibble on that pumpkin. He nibbled and nibbled and nibbled and nibbled and nibbled and nibbled and nibbled. He nibbled and nibbled and nibbled and nibbled and nibbled and nibbled until at last there was a large hole in the pumpkin. Mother Hedgehog said, oh, I can use some of the good pumpkin flesh and make a fine soup. And so they gathered up a big pot and they set it on the fire. And then Mother Hedgehog put all that fine pumpkin flesh in the pot and she began to stir. Ooh, it smelled so good. And the children, they went looking and they found 2 more carrots to add to the pot. And they put them right in. And Father Hedgehog, he found a watermelon for them all to eat. And he also roasted some pumpkin seeds on the fire. And oh, before long, it smelled so good. And they began to sing. Shine on, harvest moon, up in the sky. Shine on, harvest moon, oh me, oh my. Mr. Murphy woke up and he smelled that wonderful smell of soup cooking, and he went to follow it. And he saw there in the distance that the little hedgehog family was having a wonderful party, and they were going to enjoy their soup. And he thought, oh, how lucky I am to be neighbors with them. For he had seen all the baskets of fruits and vegetables that they had harvested right by his front porch. They had saved the harvest for him. And he thought, next year, I'm going to plant even more so that the hedgehog family can share more with me. But it was very late. So Mr. Murphy, he went back to his home, this time to go to bed in his actual bed. Well, the evening was growing late, and before long, the sun started to peep up in the sky. And it was time for them to go to bed, and Father Hedgehog said, I have a surprise for you. When I nibbled that big hole in the pumpkin, I found that it was just large enough for us to use that as our winter home. Let's sleep in the pumpkin tonight. So wiggledy-tiggledy, one at a time, they all crept into the pumpkin. And it was indeed a very cozy place to sleep. And all of them fit into that pumpkin so well. And that is where the family stayed all winter long, safe and cozy and warm. And if things have not changed, they are still the same today. Snip, snap, snout. This tale has been told out.